everybody, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we are going to spend some time together and we're going to introduce something called DFY, something we call a DFY preview. And I'm really excited to be here with you today. And thank you so much for tuning in, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to share some things with you that I think will be impactful for your future, but also for your today, which is absolutely vital. And so we're going to go over some information that I think will be really helpful and help you see how you can redefine your retirement and begin to free your family from financial burden as soon as now, at the speed of now, not at the speed of someday and one day. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So my intention for the next 45 minutes or so is to share some really important information with you and to help you see things in a slightly different light than you maybe kind of viewed them before, and to introduce something we call DFY, which is a company that we are very passionate about and something that we've been doing for about 10 years in an effort to try to serve people and serve the community in a way that allows you to redefine your retirement and begin to live for today, not just wait for the future. And I thought that one of the great ways that we could introduce a little of what DFY is and what, frankly, it means to you is I wanted to show you a quick little video. And this is just a 4-minute video. You're going to get to hear from a few of our DFY clients, and you're going to get to see a little bit of what it is that we do for you, because DFY actually stands for Done For You. This company is about you. It's about your story and it's about your future. We literally just get to be the guide to help take you from here to there. Today, as we kind of jump in and as we show you the video here, I want you to consider this idea that the only way to get to where you want to get to one day is to know where you are currently and to know where you want to get to, and then to have a clear path from here to there. The next 45 minutes should be able to clarify part of that path to get you from here to there. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this video so that you can hear from a few DFY clients and you can get a feel for what it is we do at DFY and why it just may be the answer you've been looking for to redefine your retirement and begin replacing your income one real estate investment at a time.
Before we found Done For You Real Estate, I was working full time and putting as many hours as I could in, and there was just no way for me to create any residual income, and I really felt like I was just going to be working until I died.
I was disabled in 1997, and so my income plummeted.
And I'd always wanted to do real estate, but I didn't have the education, the time, or the money to want to invest in what it would take to do it all by yourself.
I'm Steve Earle, CEO of DFY, and we have a framework that we want to teach you that will help you replace your current income through consistent, conservative, and predictable real estate investments. We have a mantra around the DFY office, and it is this: it's time to redefine your retirement, that is. And here's what I mean by that. Too many people have their eyes fixed on one day, hoping that traditional retirement plans, unpredictable market fluctuations, and accumulating a nest egg over 30-year work career will be the answer. But what they should be focused on is freeing their family from financial burden at the speed of now.
I remember as I first learned about Done For You Real Estate, I said, this is going to do for real estate what mutual funds did for the stock market. And that to me was just remarkable, because that made stock available to everybody, even the little guy. And now suddenly Done For You Real Estate's making investing in real estate available for anybody.
I know what it's like to feel unsure and insecure about the future. We are bombarded by endless commercials from investment companies telling us what we're supposed to be doing to achieve financial peace, only to sit back and do the math and realize that we have a long way to go.
The first time that I met with the project manager, it was so surprising to me that they were able to take our current financial situation, and where I didn't see any options whatsoever to begin investing in real estate, they were able to find options that I didn't know even existed.
The first step is to schedule a call with one of our dedicated specialists. Sometimes you just need someone to help you see what you can't see and nudge you in the right direction. Step 2 is to create a customized and personalized game plan. We take your answers from step 1 and help you combine those answers with your values, your specific wants, dreams, and wishes, and with the resources you have at your fingertips, and then help you understand how to insert this information into a framework that can begin replacing your income. Step 3 is you begin investing. You begin investing according to your plan, your values, and your resources.
Another thing that happened when I first started, with Done For You, is you guys pulled me in and says, hey, you buy your first house, and then, after a while, you buy another house, and you sell a house, and you buy 2 houses, and you guys said, hey, after 10 years, you could have 10 houses. And I thought, no way. There was no way that in 10 years I was going to have 10 properties. But as I bought more and more properties and sold one and bought 2 and sold another one and bought 2, I realized that what you guys said in the very beginning was exactly right.
DFY will give you everything you need to help you begin replacing your income, one real estate investment at a time. We deliver the properties, the financing, the insurance services, the property management teams, and everything in between so that you can keep starring in the movie of your own life without having to rewrite the script.
You realize, oh, that's right, I have to have insurance for all these homes. Oh, well, okay, all set. Call's already been made. Policy should be in your email in the next 5 minutes. Everything that you needed was anticipated.
It doesn't have to be super stressful and weighty and scary. Real estate investing can be fun.
Thousands of families have already begun replacing their income and redefining their retirement story using the DFY framework. Join us. Schedule a call today.
So I hope that video was helpful, and I hope it serves as a good introduction to what we're going to continue the conversation of here. And so this idea that I really want you to focus on is this concept that we've been able to sort of bring to the masses, which is it's time to redefine your retirement, plain and simple. And what I want to do is kind of share this with you. In general, there are 2 things when you retire that most people don't get to choose. If you think about it, there's 2 things most of us don't get to choose. What's one of them? The time or the age at which you retire. And the second is the income that you earn while retired. Everybody knows that retirement is inevitable. It's going to come one day. Whether that means that you conclude working or it means that you simply decide to move out of your field right now, the career that you've had for years, and do something a little bit different. Whatever that definition of retirement is for you, it's got to be redefined. It's going to change. But what it generally doesn't change is the fact that you don't get to choose the age at which you retire, and you also usually don't get to choose the income at which you retire. How are you? And so what I wanted to let you all know is that at DFY, you really get to choose both. And both the income that you want to retire with, as well as the time that you get to choose. It's really kind of time to redefine. And I'm going to break that down and kind of talk a little bit more about what that means to redefine retirement. So let's kind of have this conversation, right? This is important. What's financial freedom? And this is one of those conversations I think that a lot of people have had for a long time, the idea of what is financial freedom. And your definition may be different than my definition. It may be different than your definition. So I want to ask the question, what does it mean to redefine your retirement? And what does it mean to have financial freedom? And so the definition I want to provide, I hope, will give a little bit of clarity as to, generally speaking, what financial freedom looks like. This is it right here. You could say, you want to be a millionaire, you want to be a billionaire, you want to have gold-plated toilet seats and helicopters to fly you to the store. That may be financial freedom, but in general, if you look at it mathematically, this is financial freedom. Financial freedom is when your residual income exceeds your expenses. Does that make sense? When your residual income exceeds your expenses. So to give you an idea of how this type of residual income can show up, I'll share it like this. It's income that continues to be generated after an initial investment of time or money. So in other words, you do the work one time and then it continues to pay you residually and potentially forever, okay? This is kind of compared or comparable to a linear income, which is where you trade time for money. So linear income would be if I wake up every day and I go to work and I'm going to trade my time for a paycheck. That's kind of linear income. The only way that I'm going to increase my income is I'm going to have to get a raise, or I'm going to have to increase the amount of time that I work, right? However, with a residual income, you do the work one time and it continues to pay you. I kind of think of it like this. If you think of like a singer may go into the booth and they may record a song one time and it may be awesome, the best song that's ever been recorded in history, and that song may get picked up on all these radio stations, and it may sell a bunch on iTunes, and it may get picked up for a movie and picked up for a TV series every time. So the work for that song was done in the booth, generally one time. And then going on, if that song gets picked up and it gets purchased, what does that singer get? Get a royalty, right? That's residual income. The problem is most people, if we look at kind of this idea of linear income where we're trading time for money, we don't have the ability to generate a residual income, which makes it almost impossible to achieve financial freedom. See, redefining your retirement means beginning to replace your current income, and we like to see it done one real estate investment at a time. And I really want to hit that point because you could be a singer, you could be an author, like J.K. Rowling, who wrote these books. She did it one time and it's going to pay her forever because it's, movies and it's theme parks and all that. Most people aren't going to have that ability to write that kind of a book or perform that kind of a song to get residual income. So how does the average person do it? Right? How do most people actually achieve a residual income? Well, we like to think it can be done through real estate, and I'll demonstrate exactly why and exactly how that works. To kind of give you an example of what a lot of people do versus what we maybe should do, I have 3 examples of people up here that are on some sort of a financial journey, okay? We have a doctor who makes $250,000 a year, which equals about $20,000 of income a month, almost $21,000 of income a month. However, she has $18,000 of monthly expenses. So she makes good money, but she also spends good money. And she has about $450,000 sort of saved away in assets. However, she doesn't have residual income. She's showing up every day and putting her scrubs on and having to go to surgery or go do work or work with patients if she's going to trade her time for this income, which helps her live this high standard of living that she must have with $18,000 a month of monthly expenses. Then we have example number 2. Example number 2, this could be, a construction worker, a general contractor. Let's say he makes $86,000 a year, which is $7,200 a month, still a really good income. He has $6,000 of monthly expenses, but he owns $1 million in raw land. Okay, so you could say on paper, he's a real estate millionaire, right? But he may be cash poor because he has $7,200 a month coming in, but he has $6,000 a month of expenses. Now, he makes $86,000, she makes $250,000. By standard definitions, if we don't redefine retirement, if we look at just kind of the standard approach to trading time for money and what success means, we would say she's successful, he's successful, but we probably would overlook our teacher that's right over here. And this teacher has been saving and working hard, and over time has begun to invest in real estate, and she's begun to replace her income one real estate investment at a time. So she makes $40,000 a year, or about $3,300 a month. She has $2,300 a month in expenses. However, over time, she's been able to accumulate 10 rental properties that generate $3,800 a month of residual income. Now, here's the crazy thing. If I told you, I know somebody who makes $3,800 a month in real estate, you probably wouldn't be very excited about that because that doesn't seem like a lot of money, right? What is that? 40, 50 grand a year? That doesn't really seem exciting when you think of real estate. Real estate is supposed to be all these big dollars and fancy cars and fancy homes and all that's what real estate investors do. But in reality, she is the only one out of these 3 that's financially free. Redefining your retirement means redefining how you view the way you generate income and how you now take that income and use it to free your family from financial burden. And isn't that really the goal? We could talk all day about financial freedom, and we could talk all day about hoping to achieve some level of success when it comes to dollars, but aren't we really just trying to free our family from financial burden? Isn't that really where we're at? She's done it. So why do I want to reframe this for you? I want to reframe it because in general, if you keep viewing retirement and ultimately your ability to succeed the same way that most Americans do, let me show you what's going to happen. Because in reality, there are a number of challenges that we face when it comes to retirement. Okay, let me show you this slide. This is a slide that's pulling data from the Census Bureau that says, check this out, approximately 97% of American families make less than $300,000 annually. So that means that only 3% of American families are making more than $300,000 annually, or at least $300,000 annually. That means that the vast majority of us are not making $300,000 a month. So how are we supposed to become free? How are we supposed to go and find a residual income? In the video that we watched, you heard a young lady named Wileen talk about she just thought she was going to have to work till she dies. She had no way to generate a residual income. Well, she's not alone because the data has been accumulated, and here's what we know. If you look at from age 24 up to retirement age, 54% of Americans preparing for retirement lack sufficient retirement funds. But that's not the statistic on this board that I'm most concerned with. Here's what I'm really concerned with. Who's actually preparing for retirement? Working professionals, probably over the age of 40, realizing that life is changing, kids are growing up, and their financial future is at stake. If you look at 40-year-olds, 80% of 40-year-olds are behind track when it comes to being able to retire. 50-year-olds, 78% of 50-year-olds are behind the pace they need in order to retire. 60-year-olds, the ones that are getting really close, 74% of 60-year-olds, we're talking boomers, are behind where they need to be if they want to retire. So what are the dollars that are required to retire would kind of be the next question, right? We know that 80%, in general, those that are actually considering retirement, on average, 80% of us are behind schedule. So how much do we actually need to retire? What does that mean to be behind schedule? So let me actually show you the numbers. So this is from a little retirement calculator. And what this says is if you have an annual income of about $100,000, I like round numbers, just easy to calculate. So if you had an income of about $100,000, you would need, if you wanted to maintain your standard of living of about $100,000, you're going to need about $123,000 because of inflation and cost of living goes up over time. So you're going to, in retirement, once you reach the age of 65, you're going to need about $123,000 a year to maintain your current income level or the current standard of living. Now, in order to do that, you're going to need $1.4 million saved. So you just have to do the math. Now, this is for somebody, regardless of your age, if you want to live that lifestyle, $123,000 a year, you need $1.4 million. So if you're 60, you can do a quick gauge and realize how close am I to that $1.4 million. If you're 50, you maybe have a little bit more time, but how close are you to the $1.4 million? And let me give you an idea of what would be required, what you'd have to save in order to get here. So this is kind of interesting. So let's say that you're 45 years old, okay? 45 years old, you make $100,000 a year. You currently have $200,000 in savings, which, by the way, is a lot of people that are preparing for retirement. They've put money away, 401ks, IRAs, all these things. We're familiar with it. They have some resources that they've set aside. Well, in reality, if they have $200,000 in retirement accounts, they make $100,000 and they still want to live a $100,000 lifestyle come retirement 20 years from now, they still need $1.4 million, okay? Here's the deal. If they continue to save 10% of their income plus the $200,000 that they already have, come retirement 20 years from now, they will still only be at $837,000. Almost half, little over half of what they need. That's somebody who's 45, has 20 years left, has $200,000 in retirement accounts, and is currently saving 10% of their income. putting it into market investments and hoping to let it ride and hoping that when that time comes, and here's the other thing. If you look at most traditional retirement accounts, here's how it works. We build a nest egg. It's not a bad thing to build a nest egg and to put money away and to have forced savings accounts. But that pile of money kind of grows, that nest egg grows. And then when retirement rolls around, what do we have to do if we want to spend that money? We actually have to pull money out of the account and deplete the account balance in order to spend. That's what this is generally saying. That's why you need to have a good amount of income still in an interest-bearing account, pulling this much out every year and depleting that over time. So it means that you trade time for money, you build a nest egg. It's gonna, if you were 45 and you had 200,000 and you were still saving 10% a month, you actually need to be saving between 20 and 30% a month if you want to, over 20 years, get to that 1.4 million. I don't share these numbers to scare you. It's just kind of in reality, kind of what's going on. So this is what you'd have to do. If you had $100,000 and you had 200,000 in savings, you would need to be saving 27% of your income every single month for the next 20 years, 30% of your income every month for the next 20 years if you wanted to get that retirement goal. So just think about that. Just put that into perspective. If you're 45 making 100 grand and you want to maintain your current standard of living, you're going to need to invest 30% of your monthly income into the potential to retire at the same quote unquote standard of living that you have today. In reality, if you're saving that much, you actually have a less of a standard of living, right? Because you can't spend all the money that you're making, okay? So look, that's just kind of what it is. Here's the question. Is there a better solution if you're ready to ditch traditional retirement planning and actually replace your income in approximately 10 years or less? Well, we think so, and we think it's done through real estate. And I'll kind of talk a little bit about that. Here's ultimately what we're trying to help people achieve. We want to help you replace your income one real estate investment at a time. Listen, you're the hero of your own story. You get to be the hero for your own family. You're the one that has to free your family from financial burden. We're not going to do that for you. You can't rely on somebody else to do it. It's you. So how do you become that hero of your own story? If traditional retirement planning doesn't work, if the requirement is to take a big chunk of your income combined with existing savings and do it consistently for 20 years just to have a shot of retiring at the same standard of living, could there be a different way? We think it's real estate, because real estate produces residual income. If you buy real estate over time, one property at a time, you start to replace your current income. And generally speaking, you could probably replace your current income within maybe 10 to 15 years while still having a big pile of sort of real estate that is just producing cash flow every month that replaces your income. That's the goal. That's where we're trying to help you get to. Now, by the way, just to give you an idea of what we've been in business for about 10 years, and we've been able to help a lot of people redefine their retirement and shift from sort of the traditional retirement planning mode of operation into beginning a process where they can replace their income over time with real estate, one property at a time. Just to give you an idea, we've done a little over 3,500 properties with our clients. That's over $75 million in combined equity growth that our clients have experienced in real estate, which is just awesome. Over $150 million collected by DFY clients in residual income. In other words, because of the real estate that these clients have done, there's been an additional $150 million of residual income that's been injected into the economy just through this group of DFY clients that have been doing this, redefining their retirement, freeing their family from financial burden by replacing their income one real estate investment at a time. We've done altogether over $400 million in acquired assets by DFY clients. Now, we're not the ones who've done that. We've been able to assist our clients in achieving these numbers. I want to be clear. This is not our achievement as a company. These are our clients' achievements. This is what you've done. This is what they've done in order to redefine their retirement and free their family from financial burden. So here's kind of the question, right? It kind of begs this question. So then what is it that DFY does? How does DFY help you replace your income one real estate investment at a time? And it's 3 simple steps. It's really easy. We used to, as a company, spend a lot of time and kind of share everything that we do with and for our clients to help them kind of achieve that level. But In reality, you don't need to know that. Here's what you need to know. You schedule a call, you generate a game plan framework, and you begin investing according to your plan, your goals, your resources, your values. This idea of a game plan framework is really, really important because what we found is that if most people, and I kind of talked about this already, but just to kind of reiterate the point, if you went to a brand new mall, and let's say there was a certain store that you were trying to find inside of that mall, it's a Cheesecake Factory or something like that, and you've never been to the mall before, when you walk into the mall, the first thing you're going to go find is what? You're going to go find the mall map, right? And on that mall map, you're going to look for 3 pieces of information. You're going to look for where you are. You want to see that little star that says you are here. You're going to look for where the location of the store is. And then the third, maybe most critical piece of information is the most direct route to get from where you are to where you're trying to go. In general, that's what you would do if you look at the mall map. The game plan framework, what you have a dedicated specialist do for you is sit down with you and ask you the questions that, in general, you may not even know you need to ask when you're looking at replacing your income and potentially freeing your family from financial burden with real estate. You may not even know where to start. You maybe don't know where you are or where you're trying to get to, and certainly have no idea how to get from here to there. If your number is 1.4 and you're making, $80,000 a year and you don't have any in savings, how is it possible to get from here to there? That's what the DFY framework, the game plan framework does, is you have a dedicated specialist willing to sit down with you and inside of 10 to 30 minutes, be able to ask some questions, help you know what questions to ask, and then place a framework around where you are, where you want to go, and then that framework begins to draw the path from here to there. And what's interesting is even on that map, if you walked into that mall and you're here and you're trying to get to the Cheesecake Factory, the only way you get from here to there is one step at a time. We view retirement income much the same way. You redefine retirement one real estate investment at a time, just one at a time. Now, what's really cool about that is real estate gives you some real advantages when it comes to looking at what retirement can do. If you think of traditional retirement means you put money into this account, right? And then it doesn't produce a residual income. You have to deplete the account in order for that income to come to you. Real estate means you can put money into something like a real estate asset, and you may see the chance of equity growth. You may see cash flows that are produced and generated over time. And there is tax benefits, just like you have in traditional retirement. There's some real tax benefits to real estate, maybe even more than real estate. Real estate's a tangible asset. It could be a hedge against inflation. There's all these things that real estate does that's very different than traditional retirement, which is why we like to say, where are you? How do we put a framework around where you are and where you want to get to? And then how do we take the steps utilizing real estate as the vehicle? Real estate's kind of like, if you go back to the mall map, real estate's like strapping some roller skates and a rocket on your back, and it helps you get from here to there quicker, in a more accelerated way. But it's still done 1 foot at a time, 1 yard at a time, 1 property at a time. And then you begin to invest according to your values, your resources, and your goals. The DFY framework, it really just ensures that you're investing with a purpose and on purpose. Over the years, we've seen a lot of people who kind of jump into real estate and they say, I want to be a real estate millionaire. They don't really know what that means, right? So they'll buy a course and they'll spend a couple, $1,000 to get educated. And that education then is supposed to provide them the path from here to there. But in reality, after they consume all the education and spend a bunch of money, they're still going, okay, so what's my next step? What's my first step? What's my second? What's my third? There's a lot of people that will sell real estate education. That's not the path that DFY has. That's not the approach we've taken at DFY. We would much rather work with individuals and help them actually take real productive action as opposed to just learning real estate and hoping that it's going to work out. And I kind of wanted to give you a comparison of what it would be like to do real estate on your own versus what we try to provide to really make you the hero of your own story and guide you through the process of replacing your income one investment at a time. So let's just say that you are somebody who says, you know what, I get it. Traditional retirement investing, it's not working. My 401k, it's growing. The market's doing well right now. It could crash anytime. And even if it grows, when retirement comes, I'm going to have to take that money out. I'm going to have to pay taxes on it. I'm going to have to deplete my account balance in order to sort of live this retirement. Not to mention, I'm part of the 80% of folks that's behind schedule of where I need to be utilizing traditional retirement investing in order to get my number so that I can retire with an income that allows me to support my family. And you say, you know, that's just not working, so I'm going to do real estate. The way that most people would then go about it is you would go and you would seek out some sort of a mentor. You'd seek out some sort of a community, some sort of something that is going to claim to teach you all of these things. How to invest in your local market, what type of real estate to do. They're going to teach you you're going to have to spend a lot of money up front, though. You might have to spend 16 grand up front just to have somebody tell you what you should be doing, or to gain access to these educators that can teach you what to do, or to get the audios and the videos that can show you the next steps. But in reality, here's another statistic for you. Remember I told you that only 3% of Americans make over $300,000? In the real estate industry, it's only about 3% or less of folks that ever buy real estate education will ever go and actually transact a piece of real estate. And so we're not interested in that. We want to help you actually free your family from financial burden with real, cold, hard, spendable dollars that are generated in a residual way through real estate as the vehicle to help you get from here to there. And so if you were going to go do it the normal way, you may have to invest locally because you're going to have to go and see the properties and walk through hundreds of properties. And you may have to go and spend some money up front to learn what to do. And you may have to spend hundreds of hours to research, to figure out what type of real estate, which type of home. I know there's a popular real estate investing program that wanted you to go and walk through 100 homes before you ever made an offer on one. Not a bad idea. In fact, that would probably be the way to go if you were starting from scratch and you didn't know how to invest in real estate. But what type of time requirement would that take? Okay, and then you're personally going to have to execute steps and find the team and find the financing and figure it out. You find it, you fix it, you finance it. You're the one responsible to sell and lease it. And at the end of the day, you may make money. Okay, it's going to be risky, it's going to be unpredictable, and it's going to go in waves, and you may have a great success or you may have a big, huge, fat goose egg and a failure. That's the way most people would approach real estate. What we've tried to do at DFY is become the guide, become the Yoda to your Luke Skywalker, so that you could be the hero and we simply guide you through the process. And we found that by doing a lot of the hard stuff for you, it minimizes your potential for failure. So we have always said this framework, and what we do at DFY, it's this system that can save you some time and effort and money. And in general, what that means is if you have the ability to minimize risk, you may have the potential to maximize profitability. We want it to be consistent and predictable, which is why we do really simple single-family residential real estate, okay? So what we do is, in general, at DFY, we help you remove geography as a condition for investing. So we have helped our folks invest in markets like Phoenix, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, Orlando, Florida, North Carolina, Memphis, Tennessee, Indianapolis, Indiana, as well as Utah. And what it means is that our clients don't have to say, I'm here in this central location wherever I live, and therefore I must do real estate in my backyard because I have to go see the homes and I have to go through the process. Instead, we've got it so that once you get a game plan framework in place, schedule a call, get that game plan framework, and you begin to invest according to your plan and resources, depending on what you have to invest in real estate. Depending on how you want to get started, it's going to change the kind of market and the kind of purchase price of the homes that you're looking at investing in. We want to remove geography as a condition for investing, which now opens up the whole country to help you replace your income one real estate investment at a time, as opposed to just relying on what's in your neighborhood and hopefully seeing a for sale sign that you could maybe take advantage of. The other thing that is very different that we try to create for our clients is we don't require any money up front. Now let me repeat that. There's no money up front to get a game plan framework to begin working with DFY, to allow us to be the guide to help you free your family from financial burden. Because there are far too many companies that charge far too much for an education that doesn't yield results. We knew that if we can work with people that want to change their family's future, and we can sit down and put a framework together for them and then help them take action, we make money when you execute on your real estate game plan. You're just investing the same amount of money you'd invest to be doing real estate anyway. Okay, that's it. So there's no money up front. Here's the other thing. Working with a company like DFY, which stands for Done For You, you're spending minimal time reviewing the properties and reviewing the conditions and figuring out what your next steps are going to be, because there's an entire group of individuals dedicated to your success. And those individuals are helping you through that process and guiding you through it and helping you make the educated decisions that you may not know how to make on your own. And then there's really, you may have to go execute hundreds of steps when it comes to doing it on your own. With us, there's really just 5 steps. It's really simple. You know, you get a game plan, you figure out what markets you want to purchase in, you review the properties in those markets, you go through the process of getting pre-qualified and obtaining the financing, and then we work with you to help you select your tenants, and then you start to make money. That's it. That's it. Just those 5. Really simple and straightforward. In other words, the homes are found for you. The homes are fixed up for you, so you don't have to go and figure out how to swing the hammer the right way. They're financed for you and they're rented out for you. And then over time, we take a look at you and your game plan. In the video earlier, you heard a gentleman by the name of Howard talk about the fact that he bought one home, and then a few years later, he was able to sell that home and turn it into a couple more. That's the idea of a game plan framework. How do you start exactly where you are? And how do you take the next steps to get to where you're trying to go? It's really just that simple, so that you can have consistent, predictable, and profitable residual income, cold, hard, spendable dollars flowing into your life on a regular monthly basis, so that over time, you totally free your family from financial burden and you replace your income one real estate investment at a time. You're not reliant on the market and on conditions outside of your control. This now allows you to be back in the driver's seat of your financial future. Finally, you can decide what age and at what time you want to retire and what income level you want to have come retirement. It's not dictated for you by a government or a market that's outside of your control. And it's done in a really simple process where you schedule a call, get a game plan framework, and then begin investing according to your plan, your goals, and your resources. Just to give you an idea of how DFY helps you become the hero of your own story. This is a couple that we really have a lot of love for. This is Doctors Bill and Debbie Hackett. And they said, within a few months of discovering DFY, we began purchasing single-family investment-grade properties in 4 of the best markets around the country. We and our retirement accounts now own 7 rental homes, and all of them delivering substantial equity growth and cash flow. It's really simple. The journey to begin replacing your income begins just with a conversation. That's it. Isn't that cool? It doesn't require a ton of research. It doesn't require a ton of time. It requires a conversation with a dedicated specialist who's dedicated to you and your future. That's it. And then we review that. We get a game plan framework in place. And if it's right to begin investing in real estate, there's no money that's exchanged up front. We just go to work with you. You just go and begin investing in real estate, and we assist you in that process. That's it. That's what DFY does, and it all starts right here. You just schedule a game plan. You can go to gameplan@dfy-realestate.com. Send that email to gameplan@dfy-realestate.com, and you're going to hear a response probably within minutes. And you'll get a link to be able to schedule some time where you can sit down with a dedicated specialist who will help you start where you are, figure out where you're going, and then begin to figure out the path from here to there so you can finally free your family from financial burden and begin replacing your income one real estate investment at a time. So with that, that's all I wanted to share with you here today. There's plenty of information on the site, dfy-realestate.com. You can get an idea of the markets that we help people invest in. You can see some more information from our clients who've been able to utilize this framework and this process to be able to achieve success and start to receive a residual income. You can learn a little bit more about the results that we've created for our folks and really give you a good feel for why this company has been around for 10 years, helping people just like you begin replacing their incomes one real estate investment at a time. So go to gameplan at dfy-realestate.com. Set up some time. It's totally free. It's non-obligatory. It just gives us a chance to sit down with you, gives you a chance to review your situation and figure out what the next steps may be. So with that, I'm Kevin Clayson, one of the founders of DFY. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for being here, and we hope to hear from you soon.